Hey folks, and welcome back to the Kentucky Hot Wheels video series. In this video, we're going to be doing something just a little bit different. As you know, by seeing looking at my previous videos, I had removed the archetype racing stirrup steps from the Gladiator because of some corrosion issues with the mounts. Those issues have been corrected with the mounts, and I haven't decided if I'm going to reinstall them or sell them and go a different direction. Anyhow, this video is not about that. In the meantime, a company contacted me and asked if I'd be interested in doing a collaboration with them on one of their products. Now, to be 100% honest, I'd never heard of this company before. The name of the company is called Joytutus, and they make different off-road or accessories for your off-road vehicles, trucks, etc. I'll leave a link to their website in the description or put it here in the video. I'll also leave a link to where you can use my own discount code for a discount on their products. Anyhow, I don't know if they'd seen the video about the stirrup steps that I removed, but they want to know if I'd be interested in looking at their own set of running boards and steps for the Gladiator. And after doing a little bit of research, I agreed to do it. Again, I told them this would be a no holds barred kind of video. If I see something I don't like, I'll definitely point it out. And to be honest with you, I had to remove the factory rock rails to install these. And if I'm not happy with these, I won't even go that far. I'm kind of picky sometimes about some of the products that I use, and we all know if you've been in the game long enough, whether it's a Jeep or a vintage car like this Beetle, any aftermarket stuff you buy is a gamble because a lot of it's just crap. You know, it doesn't last, they rust, they're not well built, etc. But anyhow, I decided to go ahead and do the collaboration. They sent me the side steps. So we're going to do an unboxing and see exactly what they look like. Now, if you've seen my previous videos, you all know that I judge a product by the way it's packaged. Not necessarily by the way it arrives, but the way it's packaged. Because, of course, FedEx does their own number while the product's in transit. But if a product's really well packaged, that usually means the manufacturer takes a little pride in their product and wants it to get to you safe and sound. So I'm going to get set up here. We're going to do the unboxing, see how it's packaged, see what they look like, and we'll go from there. I'll see you in a bit. Okay, let's get these unpackaged and see what they look like. I mean, you can tell by looking that it was very well packaged. So first props for that. I like when they package these well and hope they get to you safe and sound. But again, the shipping companies are a different story. They do their own thing. All right, let me get this unpackaged and we'll see what they look like. Okay, first impression, the packaging looks pretty good. I wish the ends of these had been more protected because, as you can see, FedEx had done a number on that end. But they're covered and they are somewhat protected. Yeah, I would recommend putting something on the end here to protect the ends, but they are well packaged and it looks like they made it here safely. Okay. Let me set this down here. Take a look at one of these. Oh, that's pretty heavy. Let's see, where's the... Okay, for packaging, we're going to give them a good solid A minus. Not too bad. We'll look at the product itself here. And I'll be honest with you, not impressed with the welds. You know, you got to admit that's pretty sloppy. Not horrible, but it's pretty sloppy. The powder coating that they use kind of reminds me of the same powder coating that Tiger uses on their sports bar. And to be honest with you, that has held up very well. So that looks like that's going to be a positive as well. So anyhow, so far, not bad. I'm not dogging the welds, but you know, again, anybody who's been in this kind of stuff for any time knows that a good weld is hard to find nowadays. I'm not sure where these are made. I'm assuming that they are probably made in China. I don't know. I'll have to do a little bit more research and find out. But so far, not too bad. Again, you have to remove the rock rails and install the brackets for these, which is no big deal. But when we continue, I'll show you what's involved as far as removing the rock rails. It's not too hard. It's no big deal. Show you what tools you need and how to do that. But so far, not displeased. I know they said you can take this off if you wanted and paint this underneath part any color you want, if you want it to match your vehicle or whatever. But they do look very well made. It's just these welds I'm not real pleased with. But anyhow, we'll continue. The next step will be to remove the rock rails and install the brackets for these. Okay, I'll bring you guys back when we're ready for the next step. Okay, now that we got it all unboxed, we can take a closer look of everything that was contained in the box. Of course, here's the running board steps. Here's the brackets that hold them on. It does come with instructions, plus they do have a pretty detailed video on their website that can walk you through it as well. And I think I'm going to, I don't know if I'll film it, maybe a couple before and after pics, but I am going to remove this plate here and paint it an accent color. They even show you, let me get them open here. Daggone it. Show you in the instructions how to do that if you want to. Sorry, the lighting's really kind of crappy right now with the sun and everything. But if you want to change the accent color, it shows you how to do that as well. Contains all the hardware, brackets, steps. So like I said, the next thing I'll be doing is removing the rock rails off the Jeep. I don't know if I'm going to get into it today. I've got other things planned. But so far, honest opinion, I'm somewhat impressed. They look very, very well made. Like I said, I'm not a fan of the welds, but that's just my own pet peeve. That doesn't mean the welds aren't good. I just think they could be cleaned up a little bit better. The powder coating, again, reminds me of the powder coating on the Tiger sports bar, which has been very, very good and has held up really well. No issues whatsoever. And same powder coating on the brackets as well. So, again, so far, I like what I see, and they look very, very well made. So when we're ready for the next step to remove the rock rails, I'll bring you guys back, and we'll go from there. If y'all have any questions up to this point, feel free to let me know. You know, I'll give you an honest answer, an honest opinion. So, anyhow, till next time, I'll talk to you guys later. Okay, so it's a couple of days later, and I want to start prepping for the install of the steps. I don't know if I'll get around to them this evening, but definitely will within the next day or two. And one of the first things I need to do is to remove the OEM rock rails. I'm not going to go in great detail about how to remove them. There's already 1,000 videos out there showing you how to do it. But basically, you've got the bracket that goes underneath, 4 of them on each side, and then you've got studs that go through the pinch weld of the body. And that's the same way the mounts are going to be for our new steps here. Here's the brackets. This will go to a part of the body underneath, and then we'll have a couple of bolts that go through here, which go through the pinch weld, and then the new steps will mount right here. So fairly easy, no big deal. It shouldn't take too long to get the rock rails off. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that this evening, and if I get done soon enough, I may go ahead and start putting the brackets on, and I'll go into a little bit more detail when we get to that point there. But as you can see, the steps are ready. The inserts turned out really good. Like I said, I painted them this marigold just because they match the insert that I made for my Tiger sports bar. There's another video on my channel that tells you how to do that if you want to make inserts for this. But anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and get started on this, get these off, and then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, as you can see, I've got the OEM rock rails removed. Process took honestly about 15 minutes. All you need is one 10mm socket and one 13mm socket for the bigger bolts. Now, I did have my son here to help because these are heavy. You can do it by yourself, but it's a heck of a lot easier if you've got some help. Okay, one thing I was going to show you the other day, and I didn't because it's not something you have to do, but I do it on anything I add to my vehicles that's like tubular or enclosed that could rust. I did it on my Tiger sports bar, and I did it on my Nerf bars that I had on my previous Gladiator. Especially for you folks that live up north, that get a lot of salt in the wintertime, and even people down south that live on the coast, they have a lot of salt in the air. One thing I do really like about these steps is they've got these rubber plugs in the end. First of all, they're actually covered. A lot of these aftermarket parts aren't covered. These are. And they've also got these little rubber plugs on the ends of the caps. What I do is remove the rubber plugs here and fill this thing, give it a generous coating of fluid film. You can buy this at most automotive stores. Walmart might even have it, I'm not sure. Amazon, you can buy it. It's not cheap, but this stuff is good. So I spray a very liberal amount in both ends, then hold them up and kind of let it run around for a while, twist them upside down. You want to get a good coating on the inside of this. This will help prevent any rust, and it works. It's great stuff. So anyhow, like I said, I got the OEM rock rails off. I've got the new brackets ready to install. I'm probably not going to get around to it this evening, but I plan on taking maybe like a half day off work tomorrow and come home and do it then, because it's already 90-some degrees outside. It's hot. What I'm going to do this evening is go ahead and start getting all the bolts and nuts ready and organized for the install. And hopefully I can use the same tools I used to remove the rock rails. A decent electric or pneumatic ratchet. And I used an impact to remove these big bolts off the OEM brackets, but really didn't need to. None of it was tight. So again, it took about 15 minutes for us to get them all off and uninstalled. But I'm going to go ahead and get all my bolts and nuts organized this evening, so when I get home tomorrow I can start right on it. Now, like I mentioned before, it comes with instructions, these new ones, and they're very detailed and very easy to understand. Tells you exactly which nuts and bolts you're going to be using for each step. They're numbered, so it's pretty much a no-brainer. So it shouldn't be too hard at all. But like I said, these are heavy, and you can probably put them on by yourself, but holding them up and getting these nuts and bolts in there isn't going to be terribly easy to do by yourself. So an extra set of hands is a plus for sure. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get these organized, get everything set out, and so I can get home tomorrow and start right on it and get this done. Okay, I'll bring you guys back when we're ready for the next step. Okay, I need to apologize in advance for this clip. I don't know what happened, but for whatever reason my mic turned off, so I didn't get any audio in this entire clip. But basically all I was doing was explaining how I had all the brackets laid out, all the nuts and bolts organized, ready to install. Just made it a little bit easier to have everything ready to go. And I didn't want to spend a lot of time on the ground because it's like 90 degrees outside. The gravel's not comfortable. My little rubber pads did help. But I wanted to spend least amount of time on the ground as I could. Big shout out to Joytutus for the detailed instructions. It really did make the process a whole lot easier. If y'all have any questions, let me know and I'll certainly answer. Okay, as you can see, I've got the brackets on. Looks like I'm going to have to straighten that one up a little bit. I left them a little loose per the instructions. So we'll see how that goes. But anyhow, I've got them on. I've got the hardware I need for the steps already laid out. That'll connect these to the brackets. So, like I said, I'm here by myself right now. I'm going to see if I can do this by myself. And if it looks like it's going to be too hard, I'll wait till my wife or son come back. And we'll go from there. But like I said, this is fairly heavy, but I think if I rig up something, I should be able to do it myself. Okay, I'll bring you guys back when we have them on there. Okay, see you in a bit. Okay, so as you can see, I've got the driver's side done. Wasn't terribly hard. I did do it by myself, but it would have gone probably took me 45 minutes. To do it by myself after I already had the brackets installed. It would have been a lot easier with an extra person here, but I just wanted to see if I could do it by myself in case somebody doesn't have help. And all I did was I took my toolbox and a couple pieces of 2x4 and 1x5 and just kind of balanced it on it underneath until I could start getting the bolts in that hold the step to the brackets. So yes, you can do it by yourself. Would I recommend it? No. So now it's time. It's hotter than hell out here right now. It's in the upper 80s. And my wife is back, so she can help me do the other side. So I'm going to turn the Jeep around. So at least I'm kind of in the shade a little bit because it's really hot. And we need to get this wrapped up this afternoon because we're going to go look at another Jeep for her. So we'll see how that goes. But anyhow, yes, you can do it by yourself. Would I recommend it? No. But I like the way they look. They don't hang down too low. They're very secure. I'm glad I did the insert with the marigold to match the sports bar. So let me get this turned around and we'll get the other side done. And I'll bring you back when we're done completely. See you in a bit. All right, so we're going to call this project complete. First of all, I want to give a big shout out to Joytutus for reaching out to do the collaboration. I really appreciate it. and look forward to maybe another collaboration in the future. As far as the steps themselves, very pleased with the quality, very pleased with the packaging during shipping, and the instructions were some of the best that I've ever used to install a product. One thing they did I really do like is they actually provided some extra nuts and bolts in case you lose any while you're doing the install. So that's always a big help. If y'all have any questions about the install or what I think about the product so far, just ask, leave a comment, and I'll certainly answer. I hope these hold up as well as I think they will. We don't have very harsh winters around here. I think this past winter is probably the worst one we've had in 10 or 15 years. So there's not a terrible amount of salt and stuff like that on the road. So I'll do updates on this like I do on every product that I install. And again, I'll be brutally honest with you. If I think it sucks, I'll say that. If I think they're good, I'll say that. So far, I'm very happy with these steps. Again, big shout out to Joytutus. Joytutus, I certainly appreciate it. I'll leave a link and a discount code in the description. So if you're interested in these, visit their website and use the discount code. Get you another, I think it's 15% off. So that's a pretty good deal. Again, any questions, let me know and I'll answer. And we'll look forward to the next project. I'll talk to you guys later.